sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless unless I bash my goddamn tablet that keeps on falling down. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch the broadcast, it's easy. Just go to shrmedia.com and click. Well, which button is it? Tell you the truth, I forgot which button it is. Damn. Total brain fart. But I know you guys are smart enough to figure that out. Let's see. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Also, I've got to point out, there's 2 other ways you can get the show. You're going to say, no. There is no other way to get the show. I'll say, yes, there is. You can go to YouTube or you can go to Facebook. Both ways, just search for SHR Media if you have not done already and haven't clicked on the subscribe button and the live button. And you can watch it that way. I mean, it's so easy. As they say, a liberal can do it. But you see, liberals can do a lot of things, like massive sexual harassment. Not that I love sexual harassment, but I love seeing these holier-than-thou assholes getting busted for it. Now, what I mean by that, you got a bunch of these liberal mainstream media assholes that sit on top of their hill and look down their nose at everybody and preach how much better they are and better than anybody else. And now, come to find out, they're worse than everybody else. That's where I'm loving it. It's karma coming back and biting them. And yes, is there some Republicans in this bunch? Yes, there is. Are all of them guilty? No, they are not. But it's this holier-than-thou attitude the liberals have, even though they're not the majority. They can think all they want. I know Hillary won more popular votes. Yeah, he had won by lying, cheating, and stealing. But now you have, it's been admitted that NBC paid off a Chris Matthews accuser with $40,000, which means that the network has had 9 of its staffers, contributors, accused of some sort of misconduct. This news also means that all the while, as prominent NBC figures like Chuck Todd, Rachel Maddow, Savannah Guthrie, Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski, Katie Tur, and the like were attempting to disqualify President Trump, Roy Moore, Todd Akin, and other Republicans from holding office over various accusations, or in Akin's case, mere words. The network was enabling and concealing its own hotbed of sexual harassment. And this is where I find it almost comical. If it wasn't so fucking sick, it would be comical. These same idiots that were up there interviewing, condemning, judging, we're doing the same thing, if not worse, behind closed doors. And when it comes to, like, accusations against Trump, he didn't have a network paying off his accusers. Matt Lauer, Chris Matthews. I forget who it was that made the joke that, Chris Perantu. Gives a new definition to the meaning hardball, doesn't it? It's unbelievable, people. Unbelievable. The real news, though, is that despite the fact that NBC has very serious cultural problems when it comes to its treatment of women, the network is still refusing to go the Fox News route by calling for an outside investigation after the fall of Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly over harassment allegations that both denied. Fox hired an outside law firm to investigate the allegation as well as how the network handled them. Nevertheless, the same NBC News that spiked Rowan Farrow's bombshell Harvey Weinstein reporting is the same NBC that still insists it should be allowed to investigate itself. Here's the list so far of the NBC staffers and contributors accused of various forms of misconduct. Mark Halprin, fired over allegations that numerous reports tell us everyone knew about of harassment, misconduct, rubbing his erection, both clothed penis up against female staffers, and masturbating in front of a staffer. Matt Lauer fired over the allegation of a horrific misconduct that, according to various reports, were an open secret. He was supposed to have had a button at his desk that would lock his door. Mike Tirico, recently hired by NBC Sports to anchor the upcoming Winter Olympics, despite the fact that NBC knew that back in the 90s he was accused of stalking, groping, and making explicit comments to female colleagues. Larry Gittano, after 20 years with NBC News, he was fired 2 weeks ago over allegations of misconduct, something NBC apparently was aware of for a while. Harold Ford Jr., prominent Morning Joe contributor, fired 2 weeks ago from Morgan Stanley over allegation of harassment, intimidation, and forcibly grabbing a woman several years ago. Matt Zimmerman, senior NBC News executive, fired in November for numerous allegations of sexual misconduct. That includes harassment, flashing, preying on interns, and production assistants. Alec Baldwin, Mr. Holier Than Thou when it comes to Trump, hired by NBC's Saturday Night Live despite his long history of bullying women and homophobia. David Korn, prominent MSNBC contributor, currently under investigation for harassment and unwanted touching. And then we go to Chris Matthews. And NBC News refuses to say if there are other accusations, against its longtime star. Sometimes a refusal says a lot of words. We're going to talk about it later, and now you got Democrats backtracking on right as a negation, which a lot of people called out, said that would happen. It's appalling what I'm seeing out there. This is not men. It's not a man culture. It's a culture of these They think they're above the law. They're predators. They're sexual predators. And we need to take care of it promptly. But at the same time, when someone is proven innocent, they need to have their life given back to them. There has to be a fine line. I know they don't want to do these, we can't press charges, because what if the woman just couldn't prove it, but they actually happened? What you'll do then is you'll silence women from coming forward. But what we have now is open season. What we have now is men losing their livelihoods, their reputations, their careers over accusations. That's all it takes, is a simple accusation. And that is not right. There's got to be a fine line between the two. Now, I don't exactly have the answer, and I don't mean to just point out negatives. We need to figure out a system that punishes those that are guilty, but doesn't destroy those that are innocent. And I know there's some theory on the left that, well, if a couple of the innocent get caught up in it, who cares? You know, it is what it is. And no, it's not. You know, it's... There's got to be a system out there that we can figure out. We're smart enough people here. We're advanced enough. That we can have a fair system. I don't know. It's... what we have going now is not working. I know it's very obvious, but pointing that out. I have no idea why. All of a sudden lately, like the last year or two, I've gotten this real fascination. I've always had a slight fascination, but it's getting more and more of the Knights Templar. And I've been having getting into it. It's fascinating to me. Now, I know I should be doing it. I got it up here on the tablet as I'm doing the show. Oh. Let's see, where are we? Oh, CBO report is out. Giving amnesty to millions of illegal aliens who are covered and eligible for the President Obama-created DACA program would cost American taxpayer a total of $26 billion. The DREAM Act, which is the most expensive amnesty being considered in Congress, would give a potentially 3.5 million illegal aliens who are shielded from deportation by DACA and those eligible for DACA a pathway to U.S. citizenship. Such a plan, the CBO reports, would come with a costly price tag to the American taxpayers. In total, CBO and JCT estimated that changes in direct spending, revenues from enacting S 1615 would increase budget deficits by $25.9 billion over 2018 to 2027 period, boosting on-budget deficits by $30.6 billion and decreasing off-budget deficits by $4.7 billion over that time. Pay-as-you-go procedures applied because enacting the bill would affect direct spending and revenues. This is what the American people have been talking about. We kept getting told, no, you don't know what you're talking about. No. Well, seems we do know what we're talking about. It seems we were dead on about it. And again, we were misled by a certain administration. And don't forget, newly amnestied illegal aliens under the DREAM Act would also be allowed to receive federal benefits to go to college, costing Americans $1 billion just between 2018 through 2022, the CBO estimates. CBO also estimates that providing higher education assistance for newly eligible people under S 1615 would cost $1 billion over 2018-2022 period. Such spending would be subject to the availability of appropriate funds. I think it's a 59% disapproval for the DACA on a poll. It does not surprise me. It did. Who went? This will be good. Yeah. Well, we know the Democrats are doing that. This will be a good thing. Yeah, we're going to give amnesty, and everybody will love it. No, you freaking moron. I mean, how dumb can you be? Well, just take a look at Schumer, and we know the answer to that question. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Welcome to this week's Money Talk with Melanie, Money Talk Minute. This week we're going to discuss savings mistakes to avoid. Here are just 3. First mistake, keeping your savings and checking accounts at the same bank. What do I mean by this? If you keep your savings account in the same place as your checking account, you're going to be way more tempted to transfer your savings money into your checking account and spend money that you meant to save. So you want to avoid that. It keeps you honest. Second thing, being seduced by introductory rates. Banks do this all the time. And anytime it comes to any special offers, quite frankly, it is usually some kind of trick. So be careful of that. Many banks will offer these awesome introductory savings rates to get you in the door, and then it only applies up to a certain amount of time, and then that rate goes down real low, and you're really not benefiting. Finally, keeping all your savings in one place. Divide your savings up into different accounts for specific purposes. Have a separate one for emergency funds, or have a separate one to save for a car, something like that. The reason you want to do that is that if all your money is in one single savings account, it's very easy to accidentally spend something that was appropriated for one thing on something else. So that's this week's Money Talk Minute. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. Please be sure to watch Money Talk with Melanie Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo. In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. because truth is not always present.
Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Cat from the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always present.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening. Contact is the evening.
Now back to Reaver Common Sense with Jersey Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. All right, these Amazon delivery personnel are freaking ninjas, I'm telling you. So, I've been waiting for a package to get delivered today, all day today. I got that damn rat that stole my attic. Oh, this is a battle of wills. I borrowed one from my parents, a little bigger cage. And it's for, like, cats and stuff. Oh, I captured that thing like 3 goddamn times, but somehow that little son of a bitch has snuck out of it. So I bought a small one, a little plastic one. He doesn't go on that one. Alright. What do I got to do here? So I ordered these 2 that are like in between. No gaps. No nothing. And I've been waiting all day for them to come. Now I'm getting pissed. I got a thing from Amazon, your delivery's been delayed, and we don't know when it's going to get there, yada, yada, yada. Son of a bitch, I paid for it to be here today. I paid that, like, next day, same day, whatever it is. So, I'm sitting here doing the show, and we're on break. All of a sudden, I look over, and I get a message. Your package has been delivered. Okay, great. Wait a minute. To my left, I've had my surveillance cameras up, because I was watching for the UPS guy to show up earlier for a different package. I never saw anybody walk up to the door. Son of a... What the hell? How the fruity tooty did they do that? They're good. They're good. So, during an interview broadcast on Friday's edition of the Fox News Channel, Ingram Angle, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders stated that many liberals have contempt for the forgotten men and women, and also stated it's sad that they are attacking a lot of us while claiming to be champion women's cause and women's issue. The only time they are the champion of women's when it helps them. Otherwise, I've watched them and they attack women worse than anybody I've seen. They are some of the biggest sexist sons of bitches, those liberals, that I've ever seen. It's disgusting. But then they run out there, no, we are the champions. You're the champion for shit. You're the champion bullshit artist is what the left is. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about me. They only want votes. And I can't say much for some of these Republicans because that's the same. They don't give a rat's ass about anybody as long as they get their goddamn money. That's all. They just want their money and that's it. Sanders says this is a president who was elected by the forgotten men and women of this country. And a lot of liberals have contempt for those people, whether they're men, whether they're women, and they want to attack us. I think that's a great reminder of why this president was elected. We're here to do a job. We're here to get big things done. That's what we're focused on. And if they want to focus on petty attacks, that's fine. Let them have at it. While they're doing that, we're going to get tax cuts passed in this country. We're going to continue to grow the economy, continue to create jobs, 2 million new jobs since this president came into office. And I'm sure there's a lot of those are going to women. And maybe we'll get to replace some of those female journalists out there that don't like us very much at some point. The bottom line is this is a president who's focused on getting things done. Focused on getting things done for the men and women that, frankly, a lot of liberal elites in this country don't like and have contempt for. And he's focused on empowering women, and he is doing that in the way he puts people in place in his administration. And I think it's sad that they're attacking a lot of us while claiming to be champion women's cause and women's issues. And they do it all the time. And I've made that comment plenty of times. They claim that they're this big champion, but they attack. They say they're here for the men and women, the middle class, and then they tax the hell out of us. They do everything they can. They ship our jobs overseas. They replace us with cheap labor. Then they expect us to shut up and vote for them. That makes me laugh. They are that desperate. And they try to better jobs, better economy, better pay, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Because if you actually thought that, and you actually cared about that, you would have done that in the last 8 years. We wouldn't be talking this. That's the funny part. We wouldn't be talking about how our economy's in the tank. Nope. That's not the case. Why? Because the Democrats do not give a rat's ass about you or me. They care about power. It amazes me. Is it bad I'm sitting here looking at sanding discs too? I'm like, ooh, sanding disc. Oh, I was so pissed at myself. So pissed at myself. I had a few mistakes with that cross candle holder I was doing. Just I'll clean it up. And I'm thinking to myself, I gotta slow down, slow down. That's when you make mistakes. Yeah, I got a little too rushy. I didn't double measure, so I overcut on something. So then I was chiseling away trying to correct it, and I ended up cracking it, and I destroyed it. So I got to start back from step one. And I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I have some other ideas that I think I could do. I think I can go a different route. It'll work. Oh, I don't know. It's and anybody that keeps voting Republican, Democrat at this point, is just begging to get taxed to death. Oh, my wife's walking out. Well, my wife's going for a walk. She's not walking out. I mean, California now wants to make your taxes, your state taxes, a charitable donation so that you can write it off on your federal tax. But what's weird is they can classify it all they want. Unless the IRS classifies that as a charitable tax, it's not going to help. It's not going to help at all. Because what they're trying to do, they're trying to get around because they limited how much you could write off on your state taxes. Well, you know what? You shouldn't be able to subsidize your taxes because you live in a state that you keep electing people that overtax you. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the Unpleasant Blind Guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense here on the SHR Media Network. Hey, Sean, you ever see a one-eared elephant?
No.
Check this out.
Oh, that's so tiny.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Oh, boy. It's only Monday, too. Damn. I see Adam Schiff. Piece of shit. Scumbag. Asshole. Whatever name you want to use for him. Adam Schiff is, had a Twitter meltdown. Which really doesn't surprise me. I mean, this guy's such a political hack, it's not funny. I was talking to my dad. I was like, you know what? Harry Reid was bad. But Harry Reid, he could at least be original here and there. He wasn't like Schumer and, you know, the crying and repeating the same lines over and over and over. It is a tax break for the rich. That is racist. That is bad. That is bad. That is sexist. Racist. Sexist. Tax break for the rich. Destroy economy. You know, it's the same fucking crap over and over again. It gets kind of tiresome. But the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Representative Adam Schiff, went on a tweet storm on Friday afternoon saying he was increasingly worried that Republicans would shut down the committee's probe at the end of the month. Well, nothing's been found, jackass. Since March, our investigation has made important progress. We've interviewed numerous key witnesses behind closed doors, held public hearings, reviewed thousands of documents, identified new leads, all to understand and expose Russia's meddling and protect our democracy, he began. But yet nothing has come about. Nothing. You also just said last week that there was nothing there, that it was a big nothing burger. He said, but no Republicans have scheduled no witnesses after next Friday, and none in 2018. We have dozens of outstanding witnesses on key aspects of our investigation that they refuse to contact, and many document requests they continue to sit on. Well, Schiff, go sit on a fucking egg. You're the same scumbag that hid behind your desk in safety and called Chris Pronto, John Teagan, and Mark Geist and others liars. You weren't even there that night to make a determination whether they are lying or not. But yet you open your mouth all the time about shit you don't know about, just as you're talking out your ass right now. There is zero evidence. Nothing. And yet you still run your mouth. The committee's investigation has gone on for about a year, with nearly 6 witness interviews across 11 open and closed hearings lasting for hours. But Schiff said what really has him concerned is that if Congress probes ends, Republicans could exert pressure to end Mueller's investigation, which has cost $6.7 million in taxpayer funds in its first 5 months. A source close to Russian investigation pushed back against Schiff's complaint. Schiff is having a bit of a meltdown. His collusion narrative collapsed. His obstruction narrative collapsed. A top executive branch investigators are being revealed as Hillary partisan and as friends of Fusion GPS. So now Schiff is introducing a new narrative. The reason why Democrats have no evidence to prove their collusion claims is because a year-long investigation wasn't nearly long enough. It's objectively an abused argument, but that's, absurd. How did I get abused? Absurd argument, but that's all he's got left. But of course he had to throw in Schiff. He went on MSNBC's Deadline White House. And he said Republicans on House Intel committees are acting on the president and Steve Bannon's injunctions. Schiff said the committee's Republicans are acting on the president and Steve Bannon's injunction. They need to shut us down. They need to shut the committee down. Now we know the Republican senators were urged by the president to shut down the Senate investigation. The Republican senators pushed back. The Republican House members on our committees, though, have not spoken out about whether the president reached out similarly to the House committee to shut it down, but they are taking steps to shut us down. Yeah, a year-long investigation and nothing, not a fucking thing, Schiff. You couldn't create evidence. So now you want it just to drag on to try to hang over Trump. Because the scandals revolving around Obama. So what they're trying to do is create scandal where there was none to hang over Trump and interfere with him. But if you notice, Trump's just going out and doing his fucking thing. He's just going out and doing his job. And if the media reported on the fucking truth, for once, they'd be reporting about a great economy, terrorism, ISIS on the fucking run, jobs through the roof. Oh, and that also means that wages have been going up. Border has become more secure. America is looking better. But no, they can't do that. They got to go with these false narratives. Russia, Russia, Russia! Oh. Someone ought to tell Schiff that Bannon is no longer in the White House and no longer has a say. Because he's still, I think that the Bannon and his allies in the White House are making the arguments that we can't shut down Mueller while there's still congressional investigations going on. We need to shut those investigations down first so that we can put pressure on Mueller. So I think there is a coordinated effort to deprive the country of getting to the bottom of what the Russians did and what help they may have had from the Trump campaign. I got to give him credit. He's still going on with that narrative. He sticks with something, sort of like that stick up his ass. It's reverse the R's and D's. Could you imagine the media if they found out that an investigation into a Democrat was fully by Republican supporting actors? That Republicans paid for fake dossiers? That there was not a shred of evidence? Hell, we saw what happened when they covered up evidence on Hillary. So it shouldn't surprise me too much. They'll cover up evidence, but CNN Tapper Friday on CNN's The Lead, host Jake Tapper discussed President Donald Trump saying people are very, very angry about FBI Special Counselor Robert Mueller's Russian probe. Tapper accused Fox News hosts of using incredibly, extremist rhetoric to impugn the credibility of Mueller and the entire FBI. No, the entire FBI is not being attacked, you drama fucking queen. The upper echelon. When you have upper echelons of the FBI sitting in a fucking office plotting how to overthrow a president if that person wins the presidency, that says the upper echelon is dirty as hell. And Trump, Tapper said, who? What people? I'll tell you who. Those people whom the president pays the closest attention to. His supporters. And actually, jackass, there is a poll out there, and it's an overwhelming majority that don't believe Mueller has been fair and that this investigation is credible. So, yes, Trump's right. People are very angry. They see a very dirty investigation. Then this one is the best. After playing a montage of Fox News clips that included Sean Hannity and Jenny Perillo, Tapper continued a KGB-type operation, a third world country, worse than Watergate, a banana republic. So by people who are very angry, the president is referring to those who are true believers in him and those who have a career interest in such decidedly pro-Trump bias. They think nothing of this incredible extremist rhetoric of impugning the credibility of Bob Mueller and the Justice Department officials and the entire FBI. A hearty congratulations to all the graduates out there at the FBI Academy at Quantico. Good luck. Good look out there. Well, what's funny, you jackass, Trump said those same words and how he wanted to see FBI become credible again, that this class, could bring that back, and they cheered for the president. They went nuts. Anybody with a brain power of over fucking 2 could see how that investigation is so fucking one-sided and corrupt. They know this fake narrative has fell apart, so they got to try to create more issues. At least conservatives didn't have to create issues with Obama. I noticed under Trump, they pretty much have to go to land of make-believe and create their narratives. Problem is, they go by, okay, what are we doing back there? All right, we're colluding with Russia. Yeah, Trump's colluding with Russia. Oh, we want to get, Trump, hey, let's have these women go out there and say he sexually harassed them. What are they doing? We're sexually harassing all the women. Yes, and then we go out there and we preach to you how bad of a person you are. How you need to just kiss the woman's ass. Hey, bitch, go get me a goddamn drink. And that's what they're doing in the background. Wait for your wife come barging. What did you just say to me, motherfucker? It's freaking ridiculous, people. It's fucking scary. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Fun at Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Pay no attention to the muffled screams in the background. You are listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on the SHR Media Network. Back to you, Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. So yes, my wife did hear that comment, and she was thinking about barging in here, but she figured I was doing something like that. So yes, I got my rat traps. I want that rat dead. I want that rat's wife dead. I want that rat's family dead. I want them all dead. Chew through my wires. Eat my dog's food. BZ, my brother. How are you doing tonight, sir? BZ's in the chat room. Maybe he didn't realize he jumped in. Yeah, he did. Hey. Yeah, it's ironic, irony, funny, haha, not the irony funny about all these mainstream talking heads that have been talking down to us for the last couple of years, and now they're getting hit with sexual harassment, all these sexual accusations against them. They're the ones that we gotta believe every single one of them. Every one of them we gotta believe. Oh shit, they're accusing me. See, here's what they don't realize. They whip up this massive crowd and they get this ball rolling, whatever it is. Sooner or later, that monster that it creates is going to come back and bite them in the ass. And it's biting them in the ass now, especially when they're the worst of the offenders by the sound of it. I mean, when you have a fucking button on your desk that you push and it locks the door, that's serial rapist type material. That is a sick fucking mind. And what's scarier is NBC allowed that. Because that button doesn't go in by Matt Lauer sitting there behind everybody's back. No, someone had to install that. And it was well known that the people were told, the women were told not to go in the office all the way or shut the door because he could lock it behind you. That's some serial sickness up in the head. And I mean, and not just like, okay, the shit that they were accusing Trump of. You know, you got two guys talking out loud. Hey, yeah, you can grab him by the pussy. Yeah, exactly. BZ, and he put the reason so many on the left ignore or downplay the numerous credible sex abuse claims by the Clinton accusers is that many on the left were doing the same thing. They assumed it was just a standard operating procedure. It's one of those do as I say, not as I do. But back to the point I was making, you know, Trump was in a goddamn bus with another guy. And I'm sorry, this shit that there's no locker room talk, that's a bunch of people that are too embarrassed to admit they've done it. And the women can be worse than the men. I have been made to blush, and I got called bullshit on it. No, that's a small group. No, ER nurses. I've worked around a shitload of ER nurses, and there's some of the... And I think it's a good thing. Hey, their sexuality. Woo-hoo! Women are just as bad. So they want to pull this holier-than-thou attitude now. And now you got, a female Democrat. She's backing out from rerunning because she's under, her sexual harassment charges have came out into the public eye. Do you know why you don't hear about the sexual harassment from women that much? Because number one, most women, or most men, blow it the fuck off. They either will call the woman out on her, comments, or just ignore them, one or the other. Except for Thank you, BZ, because I mentioned that during being at Thanksgiving dinner. Well, it wasn't at Thanksgiving dinner, but when I was up in the Poconos, and I kind of got called bullshit on that, on the ER nurses. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it, but... And I had one time 3 nurses just talking about anal sex, how they prepare for it, how they get their husbands or boyfriend. It wasn't just a bunch of young ones. It was 3 different age brackets. I was laughing at that because it was like a 60-some-year-old, 30 or 40, and a 20-year-old. And then I made the comment. I said, I could be offended by that. And if I made that same comment, they looked at me and said we'd join in. I was like, fuck, you're right. But any other place, I would be in trouble for sexual harassment. They would. How in depth they got in that conversation made me blush, and that's hard to do. There's nothing wrong with it. Hell, my wife got wrote up for sexual harassment. And here's the funny thing: technically, she did not sexually harass. She walked by a guy and just put her hand on the shoulder for a minute. Hey, how you doing? She walked by. And he went to the office and complained. Well, first off, you have to tell somebody it's unwanted. Please don't touch me again. I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just I don't approve of that. Please don't touch me. Okay. They do it again. That's sexual harassment. One time is not sexual harassment. Depending on the severity of what's going on also. But so many times it's like that. I don't think that sexual harassment should be me and somebody having a conversation and you overhear my conversation that you weren't involved in and you cry, because see, I'm telling you, my wife was pissed off. So was I. Because that's bullshit. That's not sexual harassment. How many times have anybody gone to work and kind of like you put your hand on the shoulder and just, hey, what's going on? That's all. And just kept on moving. But they had to take it serious. And the woman sitting there going, the funny thing is, like a month later, the guy ended up getting fired. Not over that, but he was not working out and they were having a lot of problems with him. He was just out to cause trouble. It's freaking ridiculous what's going on. But now you also got Hillary out there. She was on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And she said the Republican agenda was fanning the flames of white supremacy, misogyny, and homophobia. Can I ask somebody a serious question? What agenda is fanning the flames of white supremacy, misogyny, and homophobia? Please tell me. I'm going to jump back because BZ asked a question. People can't be people anymore, and folks wonder why employers want to automate. Something, I forget who it is that said it. And my question is, with all these harassment charges going around, women, could there be a backlash of people not hiring women just because to try to stop any sexual harassment claims from ever getting filed, so they kind of stop hiring the women as much as they were? And they're not trying to be vicious or sexist, it's just to solve the problem. They don't put themselves in that circumstances to put women in certain areas where something like that could happen. Could that be a repercussion of this? But I'd still, jumping back forward again, I still would like to know what the Republicans are doing. Because years ago I wouldn't go anywhere near the Republican Party because I was dumb, young, and naive, and I believed in all the bullshit and all the rhetoric I heard. But as I got older, I started opening my mind, started listening, started looking into things. I started finding out that it's just a Democrat talking point. It's like that little puppet Jeff Dunham's puppet, just parroting over and over again. But I will admit she's right on this, but not so much the investigation. She was asked if Trump will last 4 years. She said she can't predict it. She went on to say, but I believe that it really does come down to both to the investigation that's going on and to whether Republicans will decide that they have to put our country before their party. No, what it's going to come down to is whether the Republicans can hold majority in the House and Senate come 2018. They hold majority, he stays in office. If Democrats take over, they will push impeachment through. They've said it. They've talked about it. And I think it's kind of stupid of them to announce it so bad to the American people, because the Republicans, if they had a set of balls on them, would be plastering that during the 2018 campaign season. Non-stop. Because I really do think people are happy with Trump. The economy's doing great, and that's really what drives a lot of people. This tax reform goes through. If it doesn't go through, Congress better worry, because there might be a lot of people flipping jobs, and they may be in line saying, "You want fries with that?" And I love how Clinton says that the Republicans need to put the country before their party. Where were the Democrats putting country before party for 8 years? They pretty much admit that 8 years of Obama destroyed our economy. When they sat there and said, oh, we got to have a better mantra, we have a better motto, and just what we're about, a better economy, a better this, a better that. They pretty much right there, they said, Obama fucked the economy. And by extension, they fucked the economy. But she went on and says, it's disturbing and obviously upsetting to me because I see things happening around the world that are bad for our country, that are dangerous, that really pose a threat. Yeah, like having a wardrobe malfunction with our response team instead of going and saving people, Hillary. And then I see all this happening inside our country when they push through this tax plan. It's going to hurt so many people. Look, it's going to help a lot of really rich people. You know, what made me laugh, funny laugh, and holy shit, is Washington Post not long ago ran an article that told the Democrats to stop lying about it. It's not a tax break for the rich. Yeah, exactly, BZ, and I didn't know if it was going to hit that, but I heard something that they're predicting that the GDP is going to hit 4%. And we've had the most growth in the last year that we've seen, I think it's something like 20, 30 years. We haven't seen this type of growth, economical growth. And folks will forgive a lot of shit. Yes, they will. You get people working, you get people making money, and they're not going to bitch that much. And that's where the Democrat Party really fucks up. And they really fucked themselves up. They didn't give a shit. And this is why having a self-made millionaire, and yes, he pretty much is, because his father gave him a loan. Yes, I understand that. He also paid that loan back. He started his own company up. He did his own thing, and he built his company up from the ground up. Did he have a little help? Yes, but that's besides. But what's better, having that self-made millionaire running our country, or having a community organizer that runs around with mottos and pushing flyers? And I said this in 2012, as much as I don't like Romney now, I think Romney still would have been better. Yeah, 2012. Because he actually ran a company. Everybody says that this country's like a business. Well, then you need a businessman to run it. Not some, you hurt my feelings, let's go on the streets and rah, rah, rah. I still think I won't be that smart ass. She went on, Hillary's still going on with it, and talking about, imagine taking away the deduction for a teacher who buys supplies for their classroom. I mean, who thinks like that? And there is a lot that is going to end up hurting people, and then obviously fanning the flames of white supremacy. That is like the go-to anymore. Sex, well, I don't know about the sex. Yeah, sexist, racist, tax break for the rich. Rinse, repeat. And take a look during the campaign. They attacked him saying he's a sexist. They attacked him saying he's a racist. And each time, nothing worked. They attacked saying he's going to give tax break to the rich. Didn't work. Russia. They added in. Then it goes back to sexist. Then it goes to racist. Then it goes to, he's going to give tax breaks to the rich. Didn't work. Sexist. Just that's all they're doing. They got to get a new playbook because this. Well, how about you start doing the truth? You know, I'd be more apt to vote for a Democrat if he was the better candidate and I knew he was going to vote for the best plan for the people and not for the party. But I know they're going to vote party only, and I agree more with the Republicans than I do the Democrats. So I'll keep following the Republicans right now. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense. Oops. Maybe I ought to get a new commercial. Which one should I do? You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. And we will be right back.
Right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello. I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense here on the SHR Media Network. Hey, Sean, you ever see a one-eared elephant?
No.
Check this out.
Oh, that's so tiny.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. I'm warning the next article. I normally don't cover any of his stuff, but I found this interesting. It is unverified. Unverified. He even admits he doesn't know if this has any truth or is just a straight-out rumor to start shit. Now, Monday, on his nationally syndicated radio show, conservative talker Rush Limbaugh told his listeners he received an email with a rumor saying President Trump was forecasting a letter from special counsel Robert Mueller exonerating him of wrongdoing. Now, And he goes on, I'll tell you, I just heard a rumor. I just got an email with a rumor in it. The rumor is that Trump is telling people that Mueller is preparing a letter that exonerates Trump of any wrongdoing in all of this. It's a rumor. I do not know if it's true. I don't know if Trump knows this. I don't know if somebody told Trump this. I don't know if it's bogus. But the email that I got suggests Trump is telling people that he thinks, he's pretty sure Mueller is going to write a letter pretty soon to assure the American people that their president is not guilty of anything that he's looking into, that the country needs to know their president isn't guilty. Now, Lindbergh also went on to add that it might not necessarily be in his best interest to fire Mueller given what opinion polls show about his probe. Whether that's true, but even if it's not true, let's deal with that because the odds of this, who knows? If Trump believes the public opinion polls and Mueller is not doing well with the public opinion polls, this investigation is not polling well. If Trump believes whatever this investigation produces, that 48% of American people are not going to believe it, why tamper with that? Now, we heard that was a false statement. What they're talking about is Friday there was breaking news. Trump will fire Mueller. And it's not the first time that we've heard this before. That's the really sad part. It's not the time we heard this. We've heard it before. That's the funny part. We've heard it before. I think it's they needed something to talk about besides how great the economy's doing, how great the stock market, how ISIS is on the run. They didn't want to talk about anything like that. So they had to put up there that, well, a bullshit story. Just as I think this is a bullshit story, too. I don't believe an ounce of it. And I'm going to be, what is it, Missouri? Show me state. I don't believe when I hear this shit about Trump and it's a unconfirmed, unverified source, anonymous source. I never believe it. And you know what? Anymore, they've come up friggin' tails every time. I don't think any of these unnamed sources have been right a single time. I know the media goes out there and runs with it, and they've had egg on their face for a year now. Over a year now. But it's, oh my God. People just keep running with that. I can't believe it. You would think sooner or later they would become smart. I mean, it's like watching a Scooby-Doo episode. You know, it's the same storyline over and over again. Then they get mad when they catch people purposely calling up and giving false stories. You know, well, what do you expect? You've been doing it for over a year now. People are going to start having fun with it. At your expense, no less. And like I did, what did I do at the beginning of that story? I made sure everybody knew that this was an unconfirmed, most likely bullshit story. I didn't mislead, and I won't mislead. Purposely, at least. It's... Chuck Grassley demands more transparency from Robert Mueller as pressure grows. Senator Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley increased the pressure on FBI Special Counsel Robert Mueller Thursday, calling on him to be more transparent amidst questions over anti-Trump text messages from a top I've got some advice for Mueller, but I've still got confidence in the work he's doing. Because I know him as an individual, Grassley told reporters, according to the Bloomberg News, but he could help himself a lot by being more transparent. Grassley is the latest Republican to pile more pressure on Mueller amid a growing controversy over instances of bias in the FBI and the Department of Justice. That controversy has centered around text messages sent in 2016 between top investigator Peter Strzok, and fellow official Lisa Page, Mistress Lisa Page, with whom Strzok was having an affair. I cannot believe Donald Trump is likely to be an actual serious candidate for president. Page texted Strzok in March 2016. In another, she described Trump as a lonesome human being. In August, Strzok texts Page, "I want to believe the path you threw out for consideration." Let me repeat that. Strzok text Page, "I want to believe the path you threw out for consideration in what is believed to be," and it was Andy's, I think, office, which is believed to be Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, that there's no way he gets elected. But I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event you die before you're 40. You know, the Democrats keep wanting to throw that banana Republican and all those little comments. You're right, we are turning into one. When we have a federal police force meeting in secrecy on how to overthrow an elected president, yeah, we've jumped the shark. We've definitely jumped the shark. And as I said earlier, this is not an attack on the whole FBI. This is that upper echelon that seems to have been infiltrated. FBI was, I have always had an issue with FBI. After my interview with them that one time, I will always have a issue with them. They were supposed to be nonpartisan. But it seems underneath Obama, they became another weapon of the Democrat Party. And that's, I mean, some of these science fiction that have been written over the year. I'm pretty sure BZ will jump in now and tell me a great science fiction book that has something like in it. But this is something I would expect out of science fiction. That a federal police force, such as the FBI, is gathering around in secret meetings on how to overthrow the elected official because they don't like them. I never thought I'd actually see that in my government. Alright, we're going to go to break, and we're going to come back and do the last segment. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Punnet Radio.
Welcome to this week's Money Talk with Melanie, Money Talk Minute. This week we're going to discuss savings mistakes to avoid. Here are just 3. First mistake, keeping your savings and checking accounts at the same bank. What do I mean by this? If you keep your savings account in the same place as your checking account, you're going to be way more tempted to transfer your savings money into your checking account and spend money that you meant to save. So you want to avoid that. It keeps you honest. Second thing, being seduced by introductory rates. Banks do this all the time. And anytime it comes to any special offers, quite frankly, it is usually some kind of trick. So be careful of that. Many banks will offer these awesome introductory savings rates to get you in the door, and then it only applies up to a certain amount of time, and then that rate goes down real low, and you're really not benefiting. Finally, keeping all your savings in one place. Divide your savings up into different accounts for specific purposes. Have a separate one for emergency funds, or have a separate one to save for a car, something like that. The reason you want to do that is that if all your money is in one single savings account, it's very easy to accidentally spend something that was appropriated for one thing on something else. So that's this week's Money Talk Minute. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. Please be sure to watch Money Talk with Melanie Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the Unpleasant Blind Guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening. Contact is the
now back to Reaver of Common Sense with Jersey Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Oh boy, it's... Again, I gotta thank the Sackheads, all three of them, for creating those and sending them to me. I love them. Still has me laughing. What a bunch of schmuck. What a maroon. Oh, man. Alright, let's see, where are we? Sorry, I'm checking out some full-face mask. I need some full-face safety shield. Oh, it's great right now in Tampa. Weather-wise, if that's what you mean by cool. We're a little on the cold side. We're at 65 degrees, so we're supposed to get down to 61. Actually, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's a little cool. When I first moved down here, it's nothing now. I'm like, oh man, I ain't going outside. That's 65. Better than last week. We were hitting in the 30s. Holy for holies. Couldn't believe we were hitting into the 30s. What a maroon. I'm going to have that stuck in the rest of my head. I'm going to have to look up the Bugs Bunny now. Looking at a couple of different things on different masks. I don't know. Alright, damn. Oh, you're at the cabin. Okay. Because I was going to say, I laughed because this summer, you were, where you guys are in California, was hotter there than what it is here. Oh, and I got to thank you, BZ, because you gave me a little in on some stuff that was going on. That I think one of the times you called in, we talked about that underbrush situation in California, that you're not allowed to move that underbrush. And I just happened to be listening to Rush today on the radio. And that's what he was talking about, is causing all the fires in California. And there was a guy that was a firefighter. And he said, back in the 80s, it was like $60 million per district was set up for removal of that stuff. But all these tree huggers, as he put it, came in and were getting violent, would stop them from doing it. And now you have all these fires breaking out. And why? Because there's all this underbrush. I wonder why. Well, deadfall, dead trees. Yeah, it's. I was talking to my mom and dad, and they just. First of all, my mom's like, "Where the hell did you hear that from?" I'm like, talking to the guys that live out there. I was like, it's unbelievable, Mom. You can't understand. that you're not able to, then they get shocked. Yeah, there's no prevention. I mean, it is disgusting that they're causing the problems, then they want to cry and point their fingers at everybody else and say it's global warming. No. It's a bunch of idiots going around and you're leaving tissue paper and gasoline laying in your garage, and you're out there smoking, and you're surprised that you have a fire going. I don't know. Seriously, people, it's unbelievable. And then you want to cry. And then they sit there and bash our country. Sit there and bash our country, and you want us to help pay all this money. I remember with the floods that were going on in that dam, and they wanted all that federal money, and now come to find out they didn't. They didn't, do all the repairs they were supposed to. All right, BZ calling. We don't got much time, but I must have torqued them up. Sure, I got signals. All right. Just wait till BZ calls in. I forgot to turn the cameras back on. Whoops. Don't you hate when that happens? Oh, man, that's... It's unbelievable. You do all that, then cry that your state's burning down. This guy was a firefighter in California, sitting there talking how all this went about. Here we go. You there, BZ?
I sure as hell am.
How are you doing?
Doing great. For the people who are wondering where all these fires are going right now and why they're so terrible, the funny thing is, there were 4 complex fires that, 7 complex fires that turned into 5, that turned into 4. Now there were 2. We were talking about fires in Southern California that were the 4th largest in the history of the state. Now they're at number 2 in terms of the conflagrations themselves assembling together. And they're not far from being the first, the number 1 deadliest fire. Here's what you're not hearing from CAL FIRE and a lot of other arson investigators and whatnot. A lot of this stuff is from people that are creating fires out in woodlands. Why? Because we've got people that are, quote, homeless, air quotes, out in these areas setting fires, and they don't give a fuck about anyone else. The other thing that it finally got to, PG&E was found, PG&E, by the way, for the folks who are not who don't grok the concept, PG&E is Pacific Gas and Electric, and they're responsible for the dissemination of lots of electricity up and down California, and certainly in the more rural areas like where I am. They were determined to have been responsible for setting three of the largest fires in the past 2 years. They were also responsible for that massive gas explosion that occurred because of poor piping and poor pipelines. Only because of that, Jersey Joe, was PG&E now relegated to say, we give you permission from the state of California to cut back 8 feet on either side from your power lines. Because up until that point, the little enviro nifty ferries and whatnot, with all their little fairy dust, decided that you can't. This stuff has got to be left absolutely pristine and unbridled. Except it makes really damn good tinder for blowing shit up in terms of wildfires. I can take you, Jersey Joe, to almost any point in a thick California forest where there's up to 1.5 feet or 2 feet of loam on the ground from years and years of fallen needles and deadfall and trees and brush that got struck by lightning, cracked off in storms, fell on down, and this is all stuff that people could burn. This is all stuff that people could log and take as deadfall. But the enviros in California have all decided, that's bad, and we don't want people burning things anyway. Well, except that's where you get your heat if you're up in the mountains. For one point, that's what keeps you alive on a 12-degree night like tonight is supposed to be up in the cabin. So all of this crap, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, a very important safety tip from BZ to you. Stay the fuck out of California. Don't even visit it. Don't give one penny of tourist money to California at all. Stay where the hell you are. You'd be much better served. Because any money that goes to the state of California, any money that gets paid to anybody here is just eventually going to end up in the coffers of the government. And the government lives to do one thing: butt fuck the taxpayers. There. Have I been concise?
Oh, very concise. But you know what? California, and the one thing that really pisses me off, they scream about Trump, they bash Trump, they want to leave the United States, they bitch about paying federal taxes, they have all this money, we have all this money. Oh, wait a minute, we have another national disaster. Trump, would you give us this money? Give us federal money. It's sickening. And Trump, being who he should, yeah.
Well, what was the first thing they said, especially in the fires that were in, some of the semi-ritzy areas in Northern California? Oh, where was Trump? Oh, he's sending money. That's not. He needs to be there in person. Trump never went there. So, let's see, they want his money and his appearance as well. Go to hell.
Well, then you have Brown. I mean, this pissed my mom off. Brown sitting there going, we're being punished by God for having Trump as our president. What? That's what
really? I guess that here's the deal, Jersey Joe, just like you were saying. What the fuck happens when this country gets, let's say, 3 consecutive quarters in the second year of a Trump administration of a 4.0% or better GDP? What the hell happens? Because already, right now, you may not have heard, but there's little rumblings, little from some Democrats going, oh, this doesn't look good. Our economy's starting to turn around, and it's only been 1 year. Well, it even hasn't been 1 year of Trump in office. We can't let this stand. Why do you think it is that the leftists and the Democrats are trying to kill everything that Trump is trying to do? They would rather have this country be driven down the toilet than to see him succeed, which means that they would fail, and it would be a damning finger pointed at their policies.
Yep. Problem is that I still believe in the people. Maybe I'm being naive. I think the people woke up enough this past election. They're paying enough attention. They see that the economy's turning around. They see the Democrats blocking every which way but loose. And the Republicans, if they wanted to, they could take off and probably win the next several elections hands down. All they would have to do is repeal Obamacare, get that tax rammed through, and get the wall. And they'd be sitting on easy street for the next couple of decades. But there's too much infighting in the Republican Party. But with Trump succeeding, as much as they try to cover up that he's going to fire Mueller, because otherwise they would have had to talk about the economy, people are seeing it in their pocketbooks. They're seeing it in their wallets. They're spending more money this Christmas. There are more people traveling. That only happens when people have money. You don't need the news to tell you got money in your pocketbook to travel. And that, it's resonating with the people. And I think the Democrats are in trouble this election. I really do.
Let me illustrate one point. I know you got to go, but I'd like to craft a narrative that the Democrats made about this month, about the recent election in Alabama. And what they were saying is, by getting rid of Judge Roy Moore and putting Doug Jones in there, that's a referendum on what's happening. And that means that we're going to be winning tons and tons of elections, you evil conservatives and Republicans. I choose to phrase it this way. The Democrats had to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on someone that was in potential a huge jackpot, and he only won by a few mere dribbling percentage points. To me, that spells big trouble for the Democrats.
Well, not just that. They had to get the help of Republicans to get that Democrat elected. You had McConnell and Flake and a couple others that lent a hand help Doug Jones to get elected. So come in November, if they don't have that help, I think they're in trouble. Because there's, 8 or 9 of them that are in a Trump state. That's gonna put it right in their ass.
Well, right about this point, there are 5 or 6 representatives, of which I'm aware right now on the Democrat side, that have said that they're not going to be running for re-election. one or two of them, maybe 2, I think at least one, there's 1 female, and at least 1 male, maybe 2 males, who have said that they're not going back because of, trouble with the sexual harassment thingy that's going on these days. Well, those are elections that are coming up. Those are positions that are going to have to be filled. That creates opportunity.
Yep.
On the other hand, the GOP cannot afford to miss anyone, not one.
Nope. They're going to really have to double down and really push for it, and they got to get this tax through. They got to get this tax reform through. If not, they're really in trouble.
Well, and it also means that Pence potentially becomes almost a hostage in D.C. if they want a tie-breaking vote.
Yeah. Anytime. And that's it looks like it because McCain can't show up because of his health. A lot of people are saying you could fly home, but you can't stay there to vote real quick and then go home. I don't know. I'm kind of split on that. I mean, I understand he's going through some real tough treatment. But I thought they can give proxy votes. Give somebody else the power to vote for them on the floor if they had medical reasons like cancer treatments. But I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, that's a little deep in the weeds for me. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that one.
So, all right, yeah, I got to get going. We're over time, but actually, thank God I don't have anybody tonight after me. Don't forget tomorrow. We'll have you. I'll have you.
Yes, thank you so kindly for having me on the air, sir.
Anytime, sir. This is BZ. Give your information out too before you go.
Hey, yeah, you can go to my website, bloviatingzeppelin.net, and read my newest juicy posts, at least one a day. You can go to find me on Twitter, @BZepp. I'm on Facebook, Bloviating Zeppelin, and I'm on tomorrow night in the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, right here on the SHR Media Network, directly following the one and only Jersey Joe, the Reaver of Common Sense. If there's common sense to be reaved, Jersey Joe will do it.
Thank you so much, sir. And on that, we're going to get going. It has been an honor having you here tonight.
Thank you, sir, and take care.
Take care. That's the end of the show, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Have a great, great, great night. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe.
You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.